We've passed the autumn equinox. The mornings are starting to get a little bit misty. I've brought down the big throws from the cupboards, and this week I even bought a fluffy hot water bottle. As the nights draw in, we put our lights on a lot sooner. So I was thinking it would be the perfect time to share with you a quick and easy project that you can do with the children, especially good if you've got October half terms coming up at the end of the month, to make these little lanterns, these paper lanterns. Hopefully you can see that okay. So they're just made out of paper, and the great thing with these is that you can make them, you can decorate them any way you want. You can add a scalloped edge, or you can leave it plain. You can add a jagged edge, you can add some leaf prints, you can paint on it, you can write on it, you can draw on it. The options are endless. So if you'd like to join me today on the virtual village hall, hello, I'm Rachel from I Printed That. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pop you down and I'll get started and show you how to make them. So the first thing, just to make sure you've got, is the paper. So rather than going for printer paper, which you can use, but it hasn't got a great structure, the best thing to use is sort of quite a thick paper. So almost card, somewhere between card and paper, so that you can still roll it, but it's got a bit more structure. The next thing you need to do is get your vegetable oil out of your cupboard, and you're going to paint this all over your paper. So just do it in a single layer, and then when you're done, take a piece of scrap paper and then just blot it so that you take all the excess oil out. So you're just going to be doing this using a paintbrush. When you finish with the paintbrush, some washing up liquid and some hot water will get all the oil out and make sure that you can use it again. You then need to leave this to dry for at least 24 hours before doing the next bit. You can also do it without adding the oil, but I think the oil just gives it a really kind of special kind of lovely warm glow to it. And also because it's a thicker paper than printer paper, the light does shine through a lot better. You'll also need some acrylic paints. So this is the bit where it really is up to you how you want to decorate. So I'm going to be using sort of autumny colours, and then just sort of with a pop of pink as well. And I'm going to be doing this just with some leaves. So as I say, a great one for the kids, maybe a little school project or a half-term project. And I'm also going to use a roller, and I've got here a piece of acrylic just so I can roll the paint out and put it on my roller. But you don't have to use a roller, you could just use a paintbrush for the whole thing, or you can even just draw on this in pen. A Sharpie pen or a sort of a permanent marker or Posca pen would work really well on this. So let's just start by putting my paint out. I'm going to mix my paint on the board, and I'm going to give it we're just going to start with the background colour, so something quite light. Let's start with that yellow and white, and as you can see, that's given me a really good even coating on the roller. Then I've got a piece of scrap paper to protect my table, and I'm just going to roll that on. Now I don't really want to, for me, I don't want to cover everything. I quite like leaving a few little sort of white patches so the light can show through even more. But I do tend to go right up to the edge. I'm just going to mix a little bit more. Isn't quite enough. So if you're just joining us on the virtual village hall this morning, hello, welcome. Please do give us a little hi in the comments. Let us know where you are watching from today. And we're making some paper lanterns. So I previously coated this paper in oil, let it dry, just vegetable oil, because that allows the light to come through even better. And then we're just adding our colours. Okay, so that's just my base colour down. Now I want to start adding the leaves. So the best thing to do would be to leave this to dry, but I'm just going to go in so I can show you. And let's start by mixing some colours. So I'm kind of sticking on a slightly autumn theme, but a little bit zesty. I'm going to add a little bit of white in there as well. Just remember that the lighter the paper, the more the light can shine through. So a bigger brush than that. Let's see. Got. I might just mix that up with a little bit of white. There's a little bit of red from a previous one I've done. And just remember that the centre bit is the part that you're going to see. So you might want to do your main part of the design there. So I'm going to put my leaf onto the paper and then just with short strokes, just go over the leaves edge. And effectively I'm using it a bit like a stencil. If you want, you can use ready-made stencils with this too, or I've done it before where I've cut the stencils out just out of brown paper from brown paper packaging. That works too. If you've got any ideas in the comments, please, we always love to hear from you on the virtual visual. So if you've got an idea for what you might use, then please do pop it in the comments. And of course, if you make this, we would love to see your finished result. So I'm just going to go in now with a different colour and a slightly smaller leaf. Which I want that more of a hot pink. So you can change the shape of the leaves as well. And I'm going to do a few more. A little bit more paint. Try not to move it like I did. That should be okay. And it doesn't matter if you go off the top. Kind of adds to that falling leaf effect. Let's go back to my orange. And we'll do a few in the orange. And it will mix with some of the pink that's already on the leaf. Let's turn that one round. I have a little bit pink as well on that one. And then I'll just fill in these spaces. I think it just needs a little bit more orange and pink actually. Let's pop. Let's go a little bit more orange up in the corner. Okay, so there's the kind of the base of our design. Now I want to add a few other little bits as well. So I quite like polka dots. I like mix and matching kind of natural shapes and sort of quite graphic shapes as well. So bear with me 2 secs while I just wipe my hand. There you go. Old tea towels are so useful. And then if you just take a piece of cardboard, and then we're just going to make a sort of a polka dot hole in it, which I might just make that a little bit smaller. So I'm going to bend it. You could use a hole punch if you wanted a really precise hole. Yeah, and that'll just give you that shape. And then I'm just going to do a series of dots all the way around. So I think I'm going to stick with the pink. I quite like the pink. Again, if you wait for this to dry before you do this bit. I might just leave it with those actually. Then when it's completely dry, you can add a scalloped edge if you like, but let me show you with one that is completely dry how to finish it off. So you'll need a stapler. I couldn't get either sort of sellotape or double-sided tape to work with this because the paper's quite oily. The sellotape didn't want to stick, so the best way I did it, the best way I found was to use a stapler. But it doesn't really matter because it's at the back anyway. So you just fold over lap over the ends, probably to about 1.5 centimeters, and then just staple and do the same with the other end, making sure it sits flat. And there you have your cylinder. Now, because this is paper and safety first, I wouldn't use actual tea lights with this, so no naked flames. But what works really well are, oh, 2 secs. No, I actually put it away. My God, that's silly. What works really well are the little battery powered tea lights. Now, because it's not, and then you just put those underneath, put that on top. Now, because it's not actually dark in this room, you're not going to be able to see it properly. So what I've just been using to show you is just a plain bulb, and then that you can see that the light shines through really nicely. That one, and when this is done, you'll get that effect as well. So a quick little project to take you into autumn and hopefully give you something to do with the children at the end of the month too. So thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care. Bye now.